Alright, how we going everyone? Welcome back to the stable. Doing a little thought exercise one here today. I was thinking about who's going to be just flat out the top 6 averaging defenders by the end of the season. Now you're not very unlikely going to have them all, and you definitely can't start with them all. But once I put together who I think is going to be D1 to 6, I was kind of surprised myself, so I thought I'd just put it together for a little bit. And if we get straight into it, who I generally think D1 is going to be at the end of the year, it surprised me straight away because it isn't Naz. And we'll probably get into why I don't think he'll be D1. He's going to be in the top 6, don't you worry. But I think it'll be Jack Sinclair. Generally think D1 this year is going to be Sinclair because he was averaging 112 last year, splitting the duties with Naz. Now, by all reports, Naz is going to be midfield majority this year, which is he's still going to score well in midfield. He's not one of these players where it kind of ruins them. It happens to a few players where the halfbacks go midfield actually ruins their score. That won't happen to Naz, but I think you'll see. Jack Sinclair be the D1. This is my opinion, dense opinion, that Jack Sinclair is going to be D1 by the end of the year, highest average. I'm going to tip he's going to average 121. Plus 10 points on last year. I generally think with that role to himself, stays healthy, man, 120 easy. Honestly, 120 easy Sinclair. And I don't have either him or Naz in my team. I think I want to get Sinclair in, but I haven't really figured out how to do that yet. D2. This might be surprising again. I haven't gone Naz yet. Similar reasons, but this bloke will be splitting the biscuits. So I'm just saying he was D4 last year, and I think he's going to jump up to D2. It's Lockie Ash. I think Lockie Ash is going to jump up to D2. I think they're going to pass the torch to Lockie Ash at GWS. It started happening a bit late. And I heard a stat about Lockie Ash was the second most tons in the season last year behind Lugger. So that shows very high consistency. Average 107. I'm tipping like 117 average. 118 average for Lockie Ash. Which might not have him... Yeah, see, in my head I've got Naz doing a 115 average year in the middle. We're about to get to Naz. But yeah, Lockie Ash, I think Whitfield's going to pass the torch. GWS obviously want Ash to be the distributor in the future. So I think you're going to see him be taking that role by storm. He doesn't have it completely to himself like Sinclair's going to. That's why I think Sinclair is far out in front for D1. Lockie, Ash, and I'll say it, third's Naz. I got Naz third. They're very close, but I'm pipping Ash right now. Just for that. GWS love kicking out of the back line, hitting targets through Whitfield, and they need the replacement. Not yet. Whitfield's still got him, man. He's still got a few years going as well. But Ash will be right there when they want to give him the torch. And then, yeah, third. Some would say slipping to third, I have Naz. Now, Naz averaged 115 last year. But what I want to get into... Naz hasn't seen a tag. He has not seen a tag. If he's in the midfield, he'll get tagged most weeks. Most weeks. I still got him as the third highest averaging defender. And in scores, defending's got high scores. But, yeah, if he was half back, I don't know. I'd have him above Sinclair because they're splitting the chocolates there. But, yeah, in midfield, look, you're not going to go wrong picking Naz at 620. I don't think you are. But I think you can wait for possibly a cheaper price because he will get tagged to a 50 one week. There will be a week when Nasai Wanganeen-Miller scores 50 to 70 in Supercoach. And if he doesn't score 190 the next week, you'll get him at 540, 530, 520. If he has two stinkers, look out for the people that are going to get Naz at 480. Look out. If you're paying 620, look out for that. That's what I'm looking for. He will get tagged heavily one game and drop. And yeah, just going back to that's a strategy I've got in place for the year. But going back to his average, still D3 with the defenders running about. That's still very handy. But yeah, I got Sinclair and Ash, Pippin, Naz at the moment. Now D4, this is where a new name comes into it. A new name comes into it for me. I actually have Josh Dacos going to D4. I got Josh Dacos going. He averaged 97 last year. I got him bouncing to about a 110. I got him doing a bit of a decent jump to a 110. If he has that midfield role, we saw him score 170 last year, and he was only in the midfield for a quarter. There is real murmurs. Tommy, the other stallion, has touched on it very recently in the last video. Real murmurs he's going to be in midfield heavy. And I just think that at 520 as well, if we want to just put the average away for a second, 520, it's a massive pod, 7% owned. Averaged 97 last year. I've got him going up to 110 if he's in that midfield role. And 110 has him D4 for me. I've got Sinclair 120, Ash 117, Naz 115, 112 to 115. Josh Dakes 110. D4 for me. It's going to be interesting to look at this at the end of the year, see if Dacos is anywhere near the top 6. Because yeah, I've got high hopes for that. I've always liked Josh Day. I've always thought he's got a bit. Nick is better, but Josh has a bit of something. He has a bit of something. A bit of like game winner something. So, red hot on Josh, and I've got him in my squad. He'll be in the next week's changes. I've already made a couple, less than normal, couple changes, but I've squeezed Josh in. I'm high on Josh Dacos. Now, number 5, some would say slipping. Whitfield, even though he's passing the torch. Well, that surprised me. He averaged 110 last year. So maybe it's not a crazy slip. I got Whitfield slipping to like a 105 average. It's just passing the torch. There's a world where I can see Whitfield actually slipping to D7, D8. Just if we're right, well, if I'm right, and some people saying as well that they're passing the torch fully to Ash, yeah, he'll lose some of his scoring. He's still going to pop off. Whitfield's that guy. But if Ash wasn't there, he's a lock for like the next few years. But because Ash is nipping at the heels, he's ready. He's ready to take that mantle. Yeah, I've got Whitfield slipping down to D5. I don't reckon he'd be that low in a while, Whitfield. But maybe at 110 last year he was D5. Let's have a look. No, it was D3. So 110 was D3 last year. I've got high hopes for the defenders this year. Because I got D1 and Sinclair hitting 120. But yeah, so 4 out of the 5 defenders here are the top 4 of last year. So I don't think there's going to be a massive change in the averages. Josh Dacos is a big jump up. And at D6, I've got the bloke that was D5 last year. I have Connor Rosie coming in at D6. He's just going to clean up in that role. They want that role from an halfback. There's murmurs he's going to get he might get heavy midfield rotation, heavier than he did last year, but he can still score in the mid. Rosie can still have big games in the mid, big ceiling games in defence. It's just he's a port. And efficiency might hurt him. Like these other 5 boys ahead of him are way more efficient than Rosie. But Rosie, he'll get points. So yeah, he's in. And the only 2 I have in my team out of this are Rosie and Dacos at the moment because I've gone for a bit of a strat to catch a couple of these boys if they drop. But Sinclair and Ash, I think it's going to be grim times waiting for them to drop. They might be at their cheapest now. Not their cheapest, but they're not going to go much cheaper. I think there's worlds within season you'll be able to get Whitfield and Naz near 500. Near 500k. They'll have dip weeks. But yeah, so there's my prediction for the top 6 averaging defenders by the end of the year. Be interested to come back and have a look and see how bloody wrong I am. But we'll see. Anyways, you might see M1 to M8 and F1 to F6 soon. We might do that. But yeah, in the meantime, peace.